Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer CS Academy Bengaluru. This is daily news analysis session. In today's session, we are going to discuss some 6 to 7 important articles from various newspapers such as The Hindu, Indian Express, Business Standard and PAB as well as Down to Earth. Okay, so what are the points I am going to emphasize in today's video? Do make a note of it. And people who are attending interview, I am focusing on those students who are attending the interview. That is, I am picking up topics which are very important from the interview perspective. So what are the points I am telling in the class? Do make a note of it. You can use that as your substantiating point in your interview. Okay, so that doesn't mean it is not important from people who are writing prelims and mains. It is also important for both of them also. So just make a note of things which I am going to tell in the class. So the first article from today, that is 14th December 2024, is from The Hindu. The editorial is Wounding the Spirit of Constitution. Wounding the Spirit of Constitution. It is written by Kalpana Kannabiran, who is a sociologist based in Hyderabad. Okay, people whose optional is political science, PSIR or sociology. This article becomes very important. Normally in interviews, there will be questions directly asked: who are the present sociologists, relevant sociologists present in India? Many of the students might have heard about important sociologists like M.N. Srinivas, LP Vidyarthi of the past, but many of the students are not aware of the sociologists who are still working for sociology in India. So one of the important sociologists in India is Kalpana Kannabiran. Here they are talking about spirit of constitution. This editorial basically is criticizing the High Court judge of Allahabad, Yadav, who attended an event was organized by Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Okay, it was organized by Vishwa Hindu Parishad, or affiliate of RSS, and he also made some derogatory remarks there. He said that country should listen to its majority views, and he was also some controversial remarks on uniform civil code, etc., which undermined judiciary's prestige. Okay, and it also violated judicial code of conduct or Bangalore principles of judiciary. These judicial code of conduct or Bangalore principles of judiciary code of conduct, which I already discussed in topic of the day, we can go back and watch those videos. I am just giving you a brief here. Okay, his actions were superseding or were violating the code of conduct of judiciary, meaning any conduct of the judiciary which is undermining the trust of public or public trust in the judiciary is considered as a violation of code of conduct, and his remarks were seriously undermining the public interest. Okay, so not public interest, public trust. Okay, so that is why it becomes very important. On the same event, she has given certain issues. She has discussed certain parts of the incidents and has given what should be the way forward. Introduction. The author critiques the recent incident involving Justice S.K. Yadav of the Allahabad High Court, who allegedly made incendiary comments challenging the spirit and letter of the Indian Constitution. The author underscores the gravity of judicial officer acting in ways that violate constitutional values, emphasizing that such actions undermine collective affirmation of justice as well as rule of law. These keywords, that is collective affirmation of justice and rule of law, they become very important when you are speaking about polity or when you are speaking with someone about governance or constitutionality. These kind of words, okay, adds value to your words, adds value to your way of speaking also. Okay, so that is collective affirmation of justice and rule of law has been violated by S.K. Yadav through his actions in Vishwa Hindu Parishad incident. So the incident and the repercussions. So Justice Yadav's speech is described by the author as mockery of the constitution, which involved comments that allegedly incited mob violence and bigotry. Here she highlights that it is the irresponsibility of a judge in making such statements. It is also the failure of the judiciary and citizens to hold them accountable immediately, and the large threat posed to India's secular and democratic framework when the judges act contrary to the constitutional values. Normally, what is judiciary? Judiciary is the final interpreter of the constitution. Judiciary is the final protector of the constitution. Judiciary is the upholder of fundamental rights. Judiciary is the upholder of basic structure doctrine. One of the basic structure doctrine is secularism. If a member of judiciary, that is judge of a high court, goes out and talks about undermining the secularism or secular fabric of the country, it is a threat to the secular and democratic framework. Okay, that is why this incident becomes very important. That is why opposition leaders in Rajya Sabha have tried to push impeachment process against that person, that is that judge. So they said that later says that we should not just distance ourselves from this, instead we should have an affirmative action. She says that it warns against the collective failure of the society in addressing such breaches in the constitutional principles. Simply condemning or distancing oneself from these comments is inadequate. Instead, what she calls for collective responsibility to safeguard constitutional values. It is not just the responsibility of the judiciary or the executive or the legislature, but it is also the responsibility of the citizenry to bring collective action to safeguard the constitutional values. And she also calls for a reaffirmation of the rule of law and the judicial accountability. Okay, judiciary should also be held accountable. Just because judiciary is independent in its nature, just because judiciary is independent in its working, it should not be like it should not undermine the constitutional values. When the judiciary, if it is undermine the values of constitution, it should also be held accountable. Citizens and institutions mobilizing together to defend democracy. She also calls for the citizens and the institutions to mobilize together to defend democracy. And she also talks about judicial and collective accountability. She emphasizes that such instances cannot be treated as isolated events. Okay, you cannot just ignore it and you can say that it was just one event, so you can just ignore it. You cannot ignore it like that. Systematic reforms and robust accountability mechanisms are necessary to prevent judicial overreach and uphold the integrity of judiciary. So there needs to be systematic reforms and robust accountability mechanisms. The Supreme Court's intervention in such matters is crucial to maintain constitutional morality and the trust. Okay, so it is a duty of highest court of India, that is Supreme Court. It is the duty of Supreme Court to take these issues as a crucial issue, take these matters into its own hand, and then reaffirm the public trust in judiciary by punishing the individuals involved in this one. She also talks about broader implications. Okay, the editorial contextualizes the incident within the growing erosion of constitutional values in India, where dog whistle from the influential figures can lead to violence, disrupt harmony, and weaken social fabric. Okay, we cannot just ignore this as an isolated event because it shows the present context of society in India. Okay, it shows that there are increasing tendencies of these kind of issues, that people are inciting violence, people are inciting disrupting harmony, people are inciting hate speech, etc., etc. The article warns that failure to address such behavior empowers majoritarianism and sectarianism, which is against the constitutional values. Okay, what is constitutional value of India? That is secularism and unity in diversity. That is why these should be taken very seriously. So she also gave a kind of way forward. She says that there is a need for the renewed commitment. She calls for different sectors of the society to come forward. She says that for citizens, it is the right of or duty of the citizens to claim their role as guardians of democracy by speaking up against injustice. What should the citizens do? Citizens should act as a guardians of democracy. How? By voicing against injustice. And institutions should align with the spirit of constitution by prioritizing inclusivity and equality. For institutions, they should work with spirit of constitution. And for judiciary, a rejection of judicial impunity and the fostering of illegal literacy among citizens is required. Okay, fostering of legal literacy should be required so that judicial impunity can be reduced or rejected. So this article becomes very important because of these keywords, and these are also some of the opinions of esteemed individuals. So you can use this in your answers, in your interview, or in your like any sphere of the day, sphere of life. Okay, next, second article is from the Hindu again. It talks about now Competition Commission of India wraps table tennis bodies unfair practices. Okay, that is, he say wraps table tennis bodies unfair practices. So here the key issue is anti-competitive measures followed by the table tennis body, that is Table Tennis Federation of India and its affiliate bodies. Okay, so first you'll understand the issue. The issue is the CCI, that is Competition Commission of India, has directed the Table Tennis Federation of India and its affiliated state bodies to cease and desist from indulging in anti-competitive measures. Okay, it has warned these bodies. The CCI's order was issued on December 12 following an investigation into complaints of abuse of dominance and restrictive clauses in the federation's operations. Okay, we will see who complained about it and what are the practices done by competition, like practices done by TFFI or TTFI, and then we also talk about CCI. Okay, so the complaint was issued by TT Friendly Super League Association. Okay, TT Friendly Super League Association, it was an association which wanted to bring a friendly super league on the lines of IPL, ISL, okay, badminton league, etc., etc. So they wanted to bring a league for the table tennis also, so that the popularity of table tennis can be improved in India. It filed a complaint in 2021 alleging that the TTFI and its affiliates denied players to access table tennis events through restrictive actions. Okay, how they restricted the players? By issuing WhatsApp advisories that do not indulge in active events organized by TT Friendly Super League, or else you will be facing repercussions, and public notices and restrictive bylaws. Okay, they also wanted to restrict the players access to table tennis events through some restrictive bylaws. Okay, what the TTFA actually wanted is, TTFI wanted all the control over table tennis within itself. Okay, suppose if this table tennis friendly league, super league associations become popular or becomes rich, then it is undermining the power of TTFI. Okay, so they didn't wanted the power of TTFI to be reduced, so they didn't wanted this super league to be popular. They didn't want. How you cannot make this super league popular? You cannot make the super league popular by not allowing the players to participate. Okay, how you cannot make players to participate? You cannot make players to participate by issuing WhatsApp advisories, by issuing public notices and restrictive bylaws. Okay, so there was an investigation by CCI, and CCI investigation revealed that these practices violated sections 3 clause 4 and section 4 of the Competition Act. Okay, Competition Act of 2002. Under this act, Competition Commission of India was established. Okay, before this Competition Act there was MRTP Act. Okay, Monopolistic and Restrictive Trade Practices Act of MRTP Act of 1969. Okay, this act was replaced by Competition Act of 2002. Under this act, Competition Commission of India was established as a statutory body. Okay, background of Competition Commission of India. So under this Competition Commission Act of section 3 and 4, the what are the actions which are being taken by TTFI were violative of the competition anti-competitive measures. Okay, they are deemed to be anti-competitive measures, which like this section addresses the anti-competitive agreements and abuse of dominant position. So TTFI here use this dominant position as the major association of table tennis to abuse its dominant power to give anti-competitive, okay, for anti-competitive purposes, that is to reduce the competition in the table tennis, and that is to undermine the efforts of TT Friendly Super League Association. So what did the CCI directives give? Okay, according to CCI, it is given certain directions. It says that it issued a cease and desist order against TTFI and its affiliates, including state associations like Gujarat and Maharashtra Table Tennis Associations were involved in these issues, and stopped short of imposing monetary penalties, acknowledging corrective measures already taken by the federation. Okay, if the federation has already provided some monetary penalties against the players, it has stopped these like penalties, citing to the like practices done by TTFI. And what will be the impact of table tennis? Impact on table tennis. The CCI found that TTFI's actions restricted players' participation in league and tournaments, which is anti-competitive in nature. It violated the principle of fair competition by dominating the organization of table tennis events and imposing anti-competitive clauses in its memorandum of association. Okay, so this is why the TTFI has been like penalized by Competition Commission of India. Okay, so if someone who is attending interview this year, if someone has written their hobby as playing table tennis, this news becomes very important for you. Okay, so like look over it and have the basic understanding about what is the issue here and how it is important for mains like interview, as well as how it is important for table tennis in India. Now the static part of this here is about Competition Commission of India. Introduction here is Competition Commission of India is the apex statutory body established under Competition Act of 2002 to enforce fair competition in markets, prevent abuse of dominance and curb anti-competitive practices in India. Already explained this one. Competition Commission of Act replaced MRTP Act in 1969. So what are the key functions of CCA? It is to prevent anti-competitive measures or anti-competitive practice, prohibits agreement that adversely affect competition under Section 3 of Act. It is not just related to sports, it is related to trade also, it is related to commerce also, everything. Wherever any sector is there, if anyone is like using anti-competitive measures to achieve certain goal, then anti-competitive like under Anti-Competitive Act, under anti-competitive practices, CCA can look into that action. Then control abuse of dominance. It ensures that entities do not misuse their dominant market position under Section 4. And then regulate mergers and acquisitions. Reviews mergers to prevent undue concentration of market power. Okay, so in dominant market position and concentration market power, like recently CCI has issued notices against Google, Amazon for certain trade restrictive practices. Okay, and then promote competition advocacy. It educates stakeholders on competition principles and fair market behavior, and it says what are the competitive principles, etc., etc. The structure of CCI is a quasi-judicial body comprising of a chairperson and 6 members, which are appointed by central government. Okay, this is very important. They are appointed by the central government, not by the president, not by the governor, not by anyone, by central government. Okay, so CCI is a statutory body and it is not mentioned in the Constitution of India. So if it is not mentioned in the Constitution of India, it is not a constitution body. Okay, then powers. It has investigative powers under the Director General's office, can impose fines and penalties for violations. So it has investigative powers. This becomes very important. And can impose fines and penalties for violations. Okay, it can impose fines and penalties. It can issue cease and desist orders to entities involved in anti-competitive behaviors. This power has been used in this particular case against TTFI. Okay, so why is it relevant for UPSC? It is relevant because of governance and regulations. CCA's role in maintaining market integrity aligns with the questions on economic governance. You can expect questions here. Case studies, instances like TTFI rulings are examples of regulatory intervention in ensuring fairness in India's economic framework. You can use this as a case studies in your mains answers or in your interview. It is also important from current affairs. Questions on regulatory bodies and their significance are important in the economy and politics sections. Okay, I am explaining this because like I have had requests from the people who are like preparing for interview to do some articles which are important from mains interview perspective also. So that is why this is a new initiative kind of thing. So ethics and accountability. CCI embodies principle of transparency and fairness in corporate ethics. This can be used as an example in ethics. Okay, ethics and governance of GS4. So this is about current news. Then third article is from Indian Express, the Hindu again. This has been covered by Indian Express also. It says that 30 people drowned per hour in 2021, says WHO. Okay, so it talks about global drowning statistics. Okay, so swimming, drowning, etc., etc., how it is important. Suppose a person has swimming as a hobby in interview DAF, then this becomes very important. You can use this to substantiate your answers there. So the World Health Organization released its first global status report on drowning prevention in Geneva. The report revealed that 3 lakh people globally died from drowning in 2021, which averages at least 3 deaths per hour, and nearly 92% of these deaths occurred in low and middle income countries, disproportionately affecting poor and marginalized. Okay, these stats become very important. I'll just make a note of it. At least remember this 30 deaths per hour according to WHO. So it also talks about regional insights, that is disparities in drowning rates. The Southeast Asian region, including India, accounted for 28% of global drowning deaths with 83,000 fatalities. Okay, there is also progress in reducing drowning of deaths has been uneven. Okay, progress in reducing the deaths of drowning has been uneven in different areas. The European region saw 68% decline since 2000. The Southeast Asia region witnessed only 48% decline during the same period. Okay, there is improvement, but the reduction in drowning deaths is uneven between developed and underdeveloped countries or developing countries. Then according to this, according to the statistics, children are at the high risk. Children as well as young people are the most affected. 24% of drowning deaths occurred among children aged 1 to 4 years, 19% among the children aged 5 to 14 years, 14% among those aged 15 to 19 years. Okay, so very important. And globally, drowning is the fourth leading cause of death among children aged 1 to 4 years and third leading cause of death among the children aged 5 to 14 years. Okay, these points, these statistics become very important, okay, in your interview. And then, so they also talked about link between climate change and vulnerability, as well as link between climate change and drowning deaths. The report says that increasing flooding causes caused by climate change contribute significantly to drowning fatalities. With 75% of flooding deaths linked to drowning, this area remains a priority for prevention efforts. Okay, so what are the challenges in preventing drowning? The challenges is there is a lack of accurate data on natural disasters like flooding, landslides, tsunami, etc., etc. You do not get the proper data on how many people died because of drowning. And drowning during the water transport limits the effectiveness of prevention strategies. And 7.2 million many children are projected to die by 2050 due to drowning if children trends persist. Okay, if the current trend persists, 7.2 million, that is 72 lakh children are expected to die because of climate change and drowning deaths. And then, so what should be the way forward? We should focus on training and awareness. Okay, currently only 33% of countries have programs to train bystanders in safe rescue and rescuation. Okay, research creation. Okay, only 33% countries have programs to train bystanders, meaning someone who is a bystander during these kind of events. Only 33% of the countries train those bystanders to rescue if a person who is drowning. Just 22% integrate swimming and water safety training into school curriculum. Okay, only 22% integrate. And the report underscores the need for, so there is a need for legislation to enforce drowning prevention measures, investment in children facilities to preschool age children. Okay, these like investment in child facilities are already being taken by China, USA, Japan. Okay, Japan, Southeast Asian countries such as South Korea, etc., etc. In these countries, there is a within the curriculum also they are being trained to swim, like cook, etc., etc. But this is a dream for Indians till now. Okay, only in the high top colleges or top schools, only there you are allowed to, are given a training for swimming. Okay, so it is very important. And also we should introduce basic swimming skills in the schools. And also the like article called for global action. That is, a report highlights that nearly all drowning deaths are preventable with political will and international investment. The implementation of WHO's evidence-based interventions developed under World Health Assembly resolution of 76.18. Okay, most of the deaths are preventable, so therefore it is a need of intervention based on World Health Assembly resolution of 76.18 in 2023. So we need multi-sectoral collaboration to address drowning prevention. The article emphasizes that drowning is a silent killer, but strategic interventions such as ranging from policy changing to public awareness can significantly reduce fatalities. Okay, important, very important. The points are very important. Then third article is from the Indian Express. World Health Organization's revised air quality guidance. So the article reads, zero safe zones, that is, no Indian city meets World Health Organization's air quality standards, says Lancet study. Okay, so there is standards for pollution according to World Health Organization. According to this Lancet study, there is no Indian city that meets the World Health Organization standards. We will see what are the standards. So in September 2021, World Health Organization revised its air quality guidelines to address the serious health risks posed by air pollution. According to World Health Organization, the standard air quality is as per this: PM 2.5 pollutants, annual mean concentration should be less than or equal to 5 milligram or microgram per meter cube. It was initially 10 microgram per meter cube in 2025, and now it is 5 microgram. And nitrogen oxide annual mean concentration should be less than 10. PM10 annual mean concentration should be less than 15. Ozone 8 or peak season mean less than 560, and sulfur dioxide is 24 or mean is less than 40 gram like microgram per meter cube, and carbon monoxide is 24 or mean is less than 7 microgram per meter cube. These data are not important, okay, these everything is not important, but you can have a like basic idea about comparison between World Health Organization's standards and national air quality standards. Okay, there is national air quality standards also, there is national ambient air quality standards also, there is national air monitoring program. Under this, what is the status and what is the standard to be maintained, and how it differs from the standards to World Health Organization. So these guidelines or these standards are not legally binding, but they are widely used as a benchmark as government and organizations to set their air quality policies. Okay, not legally binding. These guidelines are backed by robust scientific evidence on air pollution's health impacts. Then, okay, comparison with India's national ambient air quality standards. What is ambient air quality? Ambient air quality refers to outdoor air quality surrounding humans. Okay, according to this standard authority, the authority to provide national air quality ambient standards is Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB), which was established under the Air Prevention Act of 1981. Initially, it was established under Water Prevention and Pollution of Act 1974. Okay, prescribed national air quality index. The NAAQS currently monitors 12 pollutants including PM 2.5, 10, NO2, SO2, and carbon monoxide like methane, ammonia, lead, arsenic, benzene, benzopyrene, etc. etc. There are 12 like pollutants which are covered under NAAQS. NAAQS versus WHO's AGS. So in NAAQS, it allows up to 40 microgram per meter cube annual mean concentration of PM 2.5, which is much higher than 5. Okay, national air quality allows 40 microgram, whereas this only 5 micrograms. So this discrepancy shows the gap between national and global benchmarks, underscoring the urgent need for more stringent policies in India. Okay, so that is still a long way ahead of us, because we are not even able to meet this 40 microgram per millimeter cube. How are we going to meet this 5 microgram per meter cube? So this study, a Lancet report study, shows that the key highlights are: there is widespread air pollution in India. Who doesn't know this one? There is obviously widespread air pollution in India. No part of India meets WHO recommended PM 2.5 levels of 5 microgram per meter cube, and 81.9% of India's population lives in areas exceeding NAAQS permissible PM 2.5 standard of 40 microgram per meter cube. Okay, leave the WHO standards. Almost more than 80% of the population lives under areas which are not even able to meet the national ambient air quality standards. And its health impact of air pollution is PM 2.5 is linked to 1.5 million deaths in India. Okay, 1.5 million deaths annually in India, not completely. Just in a year, 1.5 million people are dying because of PM 2.5. Because the long-term exposure increases the risk of respiratory diseases, heart attacks, strokes, and high blood pressure, developmental delays in children. Okay, and every 10 microgram per meter cube increases PM 2.5 raises the increase in the PM 2.5 raises the risk of death by 8.6%. Okay, so this is very important. 10 microgram per meter cube increase in PM 2.5 raises the risk of death by 8.6%. Then regional pollution disparities. Lowest recorded PM 2.5 levels, that is 11.2 microgram per meter cube in lower Subarnasi, that is Arunachal Pradesh. Highest is in 119 microgram per meter cube in Ghaziabad and Delhi in 2016. And what are the potential for improvement is: achieving national air quality standards could prevent 0.3 million deaths, at least 3 lakh deaths per annually. Meeting WHO's AGS would save even more lives. Okay, addressing key pollution sources like construction dust, vehicular emissions, and crop burning is essential. And the way forward is there needs to be stricter standards. There needs to be pollution source management, that is focusing on reducing the emissions from construction itself, industries, vehicles, and crop burning. There should be investment in clean technologies that encourages the adoption of renewable energy, cleaner fuel emissions, and there should be public awareness campaigns that is educate the citizens on air pollution's health impacts and promote behavior change like reducing vehicular damage. And there should be legislative reforms, that is strengthen air quality regulations and enforce complaints at the state and local levels. All this can be implemented and it can improve the air pollution level in India. In a sense, it can control the air pollution in India, not that more pollution will be there. By what I mean is, it is going to improve the air quality standards in India. So I think the video is more than 30 minutes now. Okay, so we'll finish the discussion for today now only with these 4 articles. If you want to read about more articles, there are some 2-3 articles present in the PDF. That PDF will be uploaded in that Believer Size channel. You can refer the PDF and read about other 2 like articles. They are very simple in nature. They doesn't require to be explained. So they are factual in nature. You can go through those. Okay, if you like the video and if you gained anything out of this, then please hit the like button, also comment on it and share with your friends. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and also click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the session. Jai Hind.